Hi everyone, my name is Karen, this is my channel RatherBeReading, and today I'm bringing to you my May marked as to read video. So May was actually a pretty sedate month for me in terms of marking books as to read. I don't really know why that was. I obviously just wasn't coming across as quite as many as I usually do that I'm interested in. I have 12? Do I have 12 or 13? 13 books that I marked as to read over the past month, and like 5 or 6 of those I marked on literally in like the last 2 or 3 days of the month. So actually I don't know what was going on, but we will now go through all 13 books, what they are, where I heard about them, what they are about, and yeah, let's jump in. First off, we have The Trauma Cleaner, One Woman's Extraordinary Life in the Business of Death, Decay and Disaster by Sarah Krasnosten. So this is a biography of Sandra Pankhurst, and it says husband, father, drag queen, sex worker, wife. So I believe this is a biography of Sandra, who is a trans woman, and I believe that in present day, Sandra is a trauma cleaner, meaning that they're involved, I think, with police and like cleaning up, not always with police, but like they clean up crime scenes and just all of that type of thing. Just sounds very, very interesting. Like I said, it is about a trans woman and all of the difficulties that Sandra has in her, or has and had in her life. Just sounds very, very interesting. Lauren had very, very good things to say about it, so that was one that I was definitely interested in. Next, I have The Vanishing Season by Joanna Schofferson. I'm definitely butchering that, I apologize. This one I heard about over on Aoife from Fred Weasley Died Laughing's channel. This is an adult thriller. It's about a female detective who, when she was younger, I think it said maybe when she was like 7, no. When she was younger, she was the victim of a serial killer. I think maybe she was his 17th victim, and obviously she escaped. But I think maybe no one really knows this about her, and then now there is a bunch of girls who are all starting to have all gone missing over the last couple of years in similar circumstances to what happened to her when she was younger. A pretty cliche kind of thriller plot, but that never bothers me, and it sounds pretty interesting, and Aoife did have good things to say about it, so I was definitely interested in it. Next, I have The Sea of Tranquility by Katja Millet. This is one that Jade from over at Bedtime Bookworm talked about on her channel. And it's one that I'd kind of seen around but never really knew too much about. And then when Jade was talking about it and I looked it up on Goodreads, it had really great reviews on Goodreads. So it's a YA contemporary. I'm kind of vague on what it's actually about. I understand that it's about a girl who wants revenge against the boy who took everything from her. And then I think maybe they end up forming some kind of friendship, but I don't really know what the go is, but I'm interested generally in revenge stories, and like I say, it just sounds pretty interesting. Next, I have 2 books that I heard about over at Simon from Savage Reads channel. The first of those is 3 Things About Elsie by Joanna Cannon. This is a literary fiction, and I believe it basically surrounds an elderly woman who has fallen, and she's basically like lying on the ground, like waiting for someone to find her. And I think while she's on there, she's like remembering about her life or something like that. I don't really know. I've heard pretty positive things about this generally on BookTube, and Simon really, really loved it, so it's something that I was interested in. The other one that I heard about from Simon is The Wicked Cometh by Laura Carlin. This one is a historical mystery. It's about I'm kind of vague on the plot. It's about a girl who is taken in by a wealthy, I think they're a brother and a sister, and she's being like tutored or like helped by the sister in particular. But in London there are lots of murders or something going on. I believe it's supposed to be quite gothic. Gothic is definitely one of my buzzwords. I'm definitely interested in gothic books, but it just sounded pretty interesting, and again, Simon had positive things to say about it, so it was something that I was interested in picking up. Next, I have Neverworld Wake by Marisha Pessl. Marisha Pessl is the author of Night Film, which I own. I haven't read. I've wanted to read for a really long time, but haven't gotten around to it yet. And this is one that I've heard quite a few people talk about on BookTube, but it was actually Peru's Project, a video that she had done on it, and I think it was the first time that I'd actually really heard what the plot of this one is. I know that it's a YA release from Marisha Pessl, and it's a YA sci-fi mystery. I believe. And it's about a girl who, I think she was in like a group of friends. I think there was like 6 of them who were all like the real popular kids. And then one of the group, which happened to be this girl's boyfriend, is killed or died. And then I think it's like a year or so later and she's returning to the hometown. That's all I really know about it. I'm not sure where the sci-fi element comes in, but again, I'm really interested in like cliche type of mystery, thriller type plots about someone returning to their hometown to try to figure out a mystery from their past. I'm just very into that type of thing. Next, we have a book that I actually heard talked about on Paul Reed's channel. He described this as being pretty gothic. This is Kill Creek by Scott Thomas. This is a thriller horror book about a horror author who himself and I think 3 other authors are invited to spend Halloween night in like the most haunted house like in the United States or something like that. And I believe that they spend the night in this haunted house and some horror shit is going to go down. Totally here for that. I haven't read a horror in quite a while. I do enjoy horror, but it's just not something I seem to pick up a lot. I think maybe because a lot of the books that I hear about, a lot of people don't read a lot of horror, so I just don't hear a lot about a lot of horror, so I don't pick a lot of it up, but I personally do really enjoy horror, so this would definitely be a fun one to pick up. Next, we have a book that was nominated for the Women's Prize for Fiction. That's When I Hit You by Mina Kandasme. Both Simon from Savage Reads and Lindsay from Wandering Reader both had really, really positive things to say about this book. All I really know about it is that it's an adult thriller about an abusive relationship. I believe it's about a young girl who I think maybe ends up in a relationship. I think it might be with a professor or something like that, but it ends up being quite an abusive relationship. I am generally kind of interested in abusive relationships in books. Like I said, they both have just had really positive things to say about it, so it's definitely one that I'm interested in reading. Next, I have 3 books that I happened to find. I was just browsing on Goodreads. I don't do this a lot, but I happened to end up on like a list on Goodreads of like, I think it was June 2018 releases. I think it might have just been YA releases. I'm not really sure. And I just happened to be browsing through there and I came across a couple of books that I was interested in. The first of those is A Flicker in the Clarity by Amy McNamara. This is a YA story about 2 girls who are best friends. One of them is like the shy girl and one is like a party animal. And then the shy girl does something, I don't know what it is, that completely destroys the friendship, and the party animal girl completely cuts her off, finds a new friend, cuts her out of her life completely. But then I think the girl, like the party animal girl who cut her out, eventually tries to reconnect with her, but he's spiraling out of control. Like, he's always been a bit of a party animal, but he's really spiraling. I don't know too much about it apart from that, but it's one that I'm interested in because friendship themes. I love friendship themes in books, especially some kind of like toxic friendship themes. I'm very interested in that type of thing. Just sounded really up my alley and like something I would generally be interested in. So I marked that one as to read. Next, I have Running with Lions by Julian Winters. This one is a YA contemporary. It is a LGBT book. I believe it follows a boy. It doesn't say that he identifies as gay, so I don't want to say that because I'm not 100% sure, but it does say that he's on a sporting team. I'm not sure what kind of sporting team, if it's like football, hockey, I don't know, but he's on a sporting team and he has a really supportive coach who doesn't care about anyone's sexuality, that type of thing. And a boy that he knows joins the team at like summer training, and it's a boy who hates him for some reason, but I believe that him and this boy end up forming some kind of relationship. I'm very interested in, I don't read a lot of contemporary, but I am interested in LGBT contemporary because I seem to generally really enjoy it. Like Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda is one of my favorite books, and it just sounds like I'm also interested in the kind of dynamic of it being what seems to maybe be a hate to love relationship, because I'm into that trope. So yeah, it just seemed like one that might be a lot of fun. And the final one from that kind of general browsing was The Last Summer of the Garrett Girls by Jessica Spotswood. This is one that's another YA contemporary. All I know about it is that it's about 4 sisters, and I believe over one summer, all of their lives kind of like really changed dramatically. I'm generally interested in this one because it's Jessica Spotswood. Jessica Spotswood is the author of the Cahill Witch Chronicles, which is a trilogy that I really, really loved. So I just generally was interested in this because I think that she's a good author. And finally, I have 2 books that I heard about over at Katie from Chapter Stack's channel. First off is Garnet Hill by Denise Mina. This one is about a woman who wakes up one one morning and finds her therapist boyfriend murdered in her living room. And I believe that she becomes the prime suspect. And then I think it's somehow tied in with a similar crime that's happened in a mental hospital, or someone's in a mental hospital. I don't really know, but Katie from Chapter Stacks recommended it. And the whole waking up to find someone murdered in your house being a prime suspect, I'm into that type of thing. The last one that I have is Retribution by Gillian Hoffman. This is another adult thriller type book. This one is about a woman who is a prosecutor, and the latest case that she's trying is of a serial killer, but the suspect, like, that she's trying, she recognizes, and it seems to be that she recognizes him from her past. I don't know if that means that she was a victim and people don't really know about it, and now, because it does talk about blurring the lines between justice and revenge. It just sounded very, very interesting. And again, if Katie from Chapter Stacks was recommending it, then it's something that I'm interested in. So that was it. Those are all of the books that I marked as to read over the month of May. Not too many books here this month, which is maybe a good thing because it means that this video wasn't super, super long, I hope. I would love to chat with you guys in the comments down below if you've read any of the books, or if you've been interested in any of the books that I was marking as to read over the past month, or any books that you have been discovering, that you've been hearing about, that you're really interested in. I would love to know that as well. Please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me. But that is all I have for this video today. Bye, guys.